Your soulmate just ended a relationship because of what they found out about you. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. If these words appeared before your eyes today, take a slow breath and stay with me for a moment because something about this message was meant to capture your attention. Out of thousands of videos, endless distractions, and countless voices competing for your focus, you stopped here. That pause matters. Maybe you've been asking the universe for a sign. Maybe you've been wondering why your heart has felt restless lately. Maybe you've sensed that something is changing beneath the surface even though your life still looks exactly the same. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There are moments when destiny begins moving long before anyone can see the evidence. The greatest shifts rarely announce themselves. They happen quietly, inside hearts that are finally ready to face the truth. Somewhere, your soulmate has experienced a moment that completely changed the way they see their life. It wasn't one dramatic conversation that magically answered every question. It wasn't a single event that erased every fear. Instead, it was a series of realizations that slowly came together until they could no longer ignore what their heart had been trying to tell them all along. They discovered something about you that challenged everything they had convinced themselves to believe. It wasn't gossip. It wasn't a rumor. It wasn't someone's opinion. It was the realization of your true character, your quiet strength, your loyalty, your growth, and the person you became while they were looking somewhere else. That truth reached them in a way they never expected, and once it did, nothing inside them remained the same. Don't scroll. Because your heart needs this right now. The universe has a remarkable way of revealing people's true value at exactly the moment someone is finally mature enough to recognize it. There was a season when your soulmate looked at life through the eyes of fear instead of wisdom. They confused comfort with happiness. They confused temporary excitement with lasting peace. They believed they understood what love looked like, but they had never experienced the kind of emotional honesty your heart naturally carried. Life allowed them to keep walking until experience itself became their greatest teacher. This message is for you. While they were learning difficult lessons, you were becoming someone entirely different. You stopped chasing people who couldn't see your worth. You stopped trying to convince others to appreciate your kindness. You began protecting your peace instead of sacrificing it for acceptance. Every disappointment became another lesson. Every unanswered prayer became another opportunity to grow. Every tear quietly watered the strongest version of yourself. You may not have noticed it happening, but heaven was transforming you while you thought you were simply surviving. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Have you noticed how much calmer your spirit has become? You still believe in love, but you no longer believe you have to lose yourself to keep it. You still hope for meaningful connection, but you no longer confuse uncertainty with romance. You have learned that healthy love brings security instead of constant confusion. Those lessons did not come easily. They came through long nights, difficult goodbyes, and moments when you had to choose yourself even though your heart wanted different answers. Every one of those moments prepared you for this season. Meanwhile, your soulmate was beginning to notice something they had overlooked for far too long. They started hearing people speak about you with respect. They noticed the kindness you continued showing even after experiencing disappointment. They realized that while others spoke loudly, you quietly continued becoming a better person. They discovered that you never became bitter. You became wiser. You never allowed heartbreak to destroy your compassion. You allowed it to deepen your understanding of yourself. That realization shook them because it forced them to compare appearances with authenticity. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The relationship they were holding on to no longer felt the same after those realizations began unfolding. They found themselves asking questions they had avoided for months. Am I living honestly? Am I choosing what truly brings peace, or am I simply choosing what feels familiar? Have I been searching for something that was already standing in front of me once before? Those questions became impossible to silence. Every day they tried to ignore them, they only became louder. This message is for you. The title of this message speaks about a relationship ending, but the deeper truth is not about someone leaving another person for you. It is about awakening. Sometimes people end relationships because they finally recognize they are living in a situation that no longer reflects who they are becoming. Sometimes they realize they have been settling for emotional distance while secretly longing for genuine connection. Sometimes growth changes what a person is willing to accept. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that living without authenticity costs more than facing an uncomfortable truth. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. Perhaps you've been noticing repeating numbers appearing throughout your day. Maybe 111 catches your attention whenever you're beginning to believe in yourself again. Maybe 222 appears during moments when patience feels difficult. Perhaps 444 reminds you that even when you cannot see the whole path, you are not walking it alone. Whether these moments feel spiritual or simply meaningful to you, let them encourage you to continue trusting the work taking place inside your own heart. Your soulmate has also started reflecting on the smallest memories instead of the biggest ones. They remember conversations where you encouraged them without asking for anything in return. They remember how safe they felt sharing dreams they never shared with anyone else. They remember the peace that surrounded ordinary moments with you. Looking back now, they understand that genuine love is rarely built through dramatic gestures alone. It grows through consistency, kindness, honesty, and quiet loyalty over time. Those are the very qualities they finally recognized in you. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. You may have wondered whether your kindness ever mattered. You may have questioned whether anyone truly saw the effort you poured into loving with sincerity. Let this message remind you that authentic character often leaves a deeper impression than you realize. Even when people fail to appreciate it immediately, truth has a way of revealing itself in time. Hearts eventually recognize what pride once refused to see. This message is for you. Continue becoming the person you have worked so hard to become. Continue choosing peace over panic, wisdom over impulse, and self-respect over chasing temporary validation. Your journey has never been about proving your worth to someone else. It has always been about remembering it yourself. Because while your soulmate continues uncovering truths that have changed the way they see their own life, another realization is quietly waiting just ahead. It is a realization so personal, so emotional, and so impossible to ignore that once they fully accept it, they will understand that what they truly discovered was never simply something about you. They discovered the truth about themselves, and that changes everything. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. Ever since your soulmate uncovered the truth that changed the way they looked at you, something inside them has refused to go back to the way it was before. They wake up each morning carrying the same responsibilities, speaking to the same people, following the same routines, yet nothing feels quite the same anymore. The life they once believed fit them perfectly has begun to feel unfamiliar because clarity has a way of changing everything it touches. The truth they discovered was not a dramatic secret or a shocking revelation whispered by strangers. It was something much quieter and much more powerful. They realized that while they had been searching everywhere else for peace, you had been quietly becoming the kind of person they had always hoped to find. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. Sometimes the greatest awakening happens when we finally see someone without the filters of fear, pride, or misunderstanding. That is exactly what is happening inside your soulmate's heart. For a long time, they judged your story through moments they did not fully understand. They assumed your silence meant you had stopped caring. They mistook your boundaries for distance. They confused your healing with moving on. But life has slowly removed those misunderstandings one by one. They have watched from a distance as you continued growing without bitterness. They noticed that you did not spend your energy tearing others down. Instead, you quietly built yourself back up. They heard people speak about your kindness, your resilience, and the calm strength you carried through difficult seasons. Those observations challenged everything they once believed. This message is for you. The universe has a remarkable way of revealing a person's true character over time. Appearances fade. Words are forgotten. But consistent actions leave lasting impressions. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. While your soulmate was coming to these realizations, they also began looking honestly at the relationship they were currently living in. For the first time, they stopped asking whether everything looked fine from the outside and started asking whether it felt right on the inside. They realized that comfort without honesty eventually becomes emptiness. They realized that staying somewhere simply because it is familiar is very different from staying because it brings genuine peace. These questions did not appear overnight. They grew slowly, becoming impossible to ignore. Every day they compared what they were experiencing to the quiet authenticity they now remembered in you. Every comparison made one truth clearer than the last. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The ending of one chapter in their life was never really about another person. It was about alignment. Sometimes people reach a point where they understand they can no longer continue living a life that no longer reflects who they are becoming. That decision is rarely easy. It often involves difficult conversations, uncomfortable honesty, and the courage to admit that pretending is no longer possible. Your soulmate has been standing in that place, realizing that living truthfully requires choices they once believed they would never have the strength to make. This message is for you. During all of this, the universe has continued preparing your heart in beautiful ways. Think about how different your life feels compared to the person you were months or even years ago. You no longer seek validation in the same places. You no longer chase people who repeatedly create confusion. You have discovered that peace is more valuable than temporary excitement. You have learned that healthy love never requires you to abandon your own dignity. Those lessons were not punishment. They were preparation for every relationship you will ever experience from this point forward. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Perhaps you've been noticing little reminders throughout your days. Maybe you see 111 whenever you're beginning to trust yourself again. Maybe 222 appears during moments that ask you to remain patient. Perhaps 444 reminds you that you are supported even when the future feels uncertain. Whether you view these moments as spiritual encouragement or simply meaningful coincidences, allow them to remind you that your journey is still unfolding. Not every important change becomes visible immediately. Many of the greatest transformations begin quietly inside the heart. Your soulmate has started replaying ordinary memories with extraordinary clarity. They remember the way you listened instead of judging. They remember your ability to encourage them during seasons when they doubted themselves. They remember the safety they felt in your presence without fully appreciating it at the time. Looking back now, they understand that the greatest gift you offered was not perfection. It was authenticity. You never asked them to become someone else just to deserve your kindness. You accepted them while still encouraging them to grow. That realization has become impossible for them to ignore. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Growth often begins with gratitude. Your soulmate is beginning to feel grateful for everything they once overlooked. Gratitude has changed the way they remember your story. Instead of focusing only on the challenges, they now recognize the countless moments of patience, generosity, and emotional honesty that quietly held your connection together. They understand that many of the qualities they are searching for today were already present in you all along. This message is for you. At the same time, never forget the wisdom your own journey has given you. If someone returns to your life after significant personal growth, let your decisions be guided by both compassion and discernment. Healing does not ask you to forget the past. It asks you to learn from it. Healthy relationships are built through consistent respect, accountability, and honest communication over time. Those are values worth protecting. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting quietly after another ordinary evening, reflecting on everything they have learned. They realize that the most important discovery was never simply about you. It was about recognizing the difference between a connection that only looks good from the outside and one that nourishes the soul from within. They finally understand that genuine love cannot be measured by appearances or convenience. It is measured by trust, peace, kindness, and the freedom to be completely yourself. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Continue walking forward with confidence. Continue honoring the peace you have fought so hard to build. Continue believing that every difficult chapter has shaped you into someone wiser and stronger than before. The universe has never asked you to stop living while waiting for someone else to grow. It has invited you to become the fullest version of yourself. And as your soulmate continues embracing these life-changing realizations, another chapter quietly approaches. A chapter where reflection gives way to courage, where gratitude becomes action, and where the truth they have finally accepted begins guiding every choice they make from this moment forward. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. There comes a moment when a person can no longer hide behind the version of the story they once told themselves. Your soulmate has reached that moment. For so long, they believed they understood why everything happened the way it did. They repeated the same explanations until they almost sounded true. They blamed timing. They blamed circumstances. They blamed distance. But ever since they discovered the truth about who you really became, every excuse has slowly begun to fall away. What once felt certain now feels uncertain. What once seemed like the right decision has become the question that follows them everywhere they go. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has a quiet way of bringing people face to face with the lessons they tried to avoid. Not to punish them, but to give them the opportunity to grow. Your soulmate has started remembering moments they dismissed as ordinary. They remember the times you encouraged them when they doubted themselves. They remember how you celebrated their victories without making them feel guilty for succeeding. They remember the conversations where you listened without rushing to judge or fix every problem. At the time, they believed those moments would always exist. They assumed there would always be another opportunity to appreciate you later. Life has gently shown them that genuine people should never be taken for granted. Some connections are once-in-a-lifetime teachers, and only distance reveals how deeply they shaped the heart. This message is for you. While these realizations have been unfolding inside your soulmate, something equally beautiful has been happening inside you. You have become someone who no longer searches for validation in places that cannot offer peace. You have learned to trust your own heart again. There was a season when you questioned everything about yourself because someone else's choices made you wonder if you were enough. Now you understand a different truth. Another person's inability to recognize your value never reduced your value. It only revealed where they still needed to grow. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not someone returning. Sometimes the miracle is becoming the kind of person who no longer abandons themselves while waiting for someone else to change. That miracle has already begun inside you. Think about the way you respond to life now. You no longer panic over every unanswered message. You no longer feel the need to chase people who repeatedly create confusion. You have learned that real love should feel safe enough for honesty and strong enough for mutual respect. Those lessons have become part of your foundation. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has also begun asking themselves questions they never had the courage to ask before. What if they misunderstood your silence? What if your distance was never indifference but healing? What if the person they thought they had figured out was actually becoming someone extraordinary while they were too distracted to notice? These questions no longer disappear after a few minutes. They stay with them throughout the day. Every experience seems to lead back to the same realization. They never truly stopped caring. They simply stopped listening to the quiet voice inside their own heart. This message is for you. The relationship they recently left no longer reflected the person they were becoming. They realized that remaining somewhere simply because it was familiar would only delay the truth. They discovered that pretending to be content is far more exhausting than admitting something has changed. Growth often asks people to leave behind situations that no longer align with their values. That process is rarely dramatic. It usually begins with countless quiet moments of honesty that slowly become impossible to ignore. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Have you noticed how often your intuition speaks before your mind understands? Perhaps you've felt an unexpected sense of peace without knowing why. Perhaps you've noticed repeating numbers like 111 during moments of hope, 222 when patience is being tested, or 444 whenever you need reassurance that you are not facing life's challenges alone. Whether you see those moments as spiritual reminders or meaningful coincidences, let them encourage you to remain steady. Your story is still unfolding, and not every important chapter announces itself before it begins. Your soulmate is beginning to see your journey through completely different eyes. They once focused on the moments when life felt difficult between you. Now they see the countless times you chose compassion over pride. They remember how you remained kind even when life became complicated. They understand that your strength was never loud. It was steady. It was shown through consistency, loyalty, and quiet resilience. Those qualities have become impossible to overlook because life has shown them how uncommon they truly are. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The greatest discovery they made was not simply about you. It was about themselves. They realized they had allowed fear to influence decisions that should have been guided by honesty. They recognized that emotional maturity is not pretending to have all the answers. Emotional maturity is admitting when you misunderstood someone who genuinely cared. That realization has humbled them. It has softened parts of their heart they believed would never change. This message is for you. As you continue moving forward, remember that your healing remains one of the greatest victories of this journey. If someone comes back into your life, let them meet the version of you that knows their worth. Let them meet someone who values honesty, consistency, accountability, and peace. Never trade the wisdom you've earned for the comfort of familiar uncertainty. The right connection will respect your growth instead of asking you to forget it. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. A new season is quietly approaching. Your soulmate has moved beyond simple regret and into genuine reflection. Reflection is becoming intention. Intention is becoming courage. They are beginning to understand that truth cannot remain hidden forever, especially when it has the power to change the course of a life. Every lesson has prepared them for what comes next. Every memory has become another reminder of what truly matters. And as the next chapter begins to unfold, they will face a decision they can no longer postpone. A decision that will ask them to replace silent realization with meaningful action and to prove, through humility and consistency, that the truth they discovered about you has also transformed the person they are becoming. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. There are moments when a person's heart becomes too honest to continue living the life it has outgrown. Your soulmate has entered that season. Every lesson they have learned over the past months has brought them to one unavoidable truth. The relationship they left behind was never truly ending because of one single event. It ended because they finally understood they could no longer ignore what their own heart had been trying to tell them. They discovered that living without authenticity slowly drains the spirit, and pretending everything is fine only delays the healing that truth is trying to bring. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. Sometimes the universe does not change your circumstances first. It changes your perspective. Once your perspective changes, every decision that follows begins changing your life. Your soulmate has been looking back at your story with completely different eyes. The moments they once misunderstood now carry new meaning. They remember the times you stepped back instead of arguing because you valued peace over winning. They remember how you offered encouragement when they struggled to believe in themselves. They remember the way you remained kind even when life became confusing. At the time, they mistook your quiet strength for something ordinary. Today they understand that emotional maturity is one of the rarest qualities a person can possess. They have met many people since then, but very few carried the calm sincerity that seemed so natural to you. That realization has stayed with them every single day. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been reflecting on everything they failed to appreciate, your own life has continued moving forward. You have built a stronger relationship with yourself. You have learned to recognize peace instead of constantly chasing certainty. There was a time when every unanswered question made you doubt your own worth. Now you understand that another person's confusion never defined your value. Your healing has become one of the greatest gifts this journey has given you. It has taught you that love should never require you to abandon your own peace simply to keep someone else's attention. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Growth often happens so quietly that we fail to notice it until we compare who we are today with who we used to be. Think about your own heart. You no longer react to disappointment the same way. You no longer believe every closed door is proof that something is wrong with you. You have discovered that delays often become protection and that endings sometimes create the space needed for something healthier to emerge. Those lessons were difficult, but they became the foundation of your inner strength. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has also started recognizing patterns they once ignored. They notice how often your memory appears during meaningful moments. A familiar place unexpectedly reminds them of your laughter. A simple act of kindness from someone else reminds them of the compassion you carried so naturally. They hear advice from a friend that sounds almost identical to something you once told them. These moments no longer feel random. They feel like gentle invitations to stop resisting the truth. Every reminder quietly asks the same question. Why does your heart still return to the same person after everything that has happened? This message is for you. There is another lesson unfolding inside your soulmate. They are beginning to understand the difference between being admired and being deeply understood. Admiration can be temporary. Understanding creates safety. Attraction can be immediate. Trust is built patiently through honesty, consistency, and shared vulnerability. They now recognize that what they experienced with you was never based only on emotion. It was built through countless ordinary moments where two people simply showed up for one another. That kind of connection is not easily forgotten. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Perhaps you have noticed repeating numbers appearing more frequently than before. Maybe 111 catches your attention whenever you begin believing in a new chapter. Maybe 222 appears during moments when patience is being tested. Perhaps 444 reminds you that even during uncertain seasons you are supported in ways you cannot always see. However you personally interpret these moments, let them encourage you to continue trusting your own growth rather than fearing the unknown. Every step you have taken has brought you closer to becoming the person you were always meant to be. Your soulmate is no longer focused on defending the choices they made in the past. Instead, they are asking themselves how they can become someone worthy of living differently in the future. That change in perspective is significant. They understand that apologies without transformation mean very little. They know trust is rebuilt through repeated acts of honesty, respect, and consistency. They are beginning to accept that if they ever hope to write a different chapter, they must first become a different person. That realization has humbled them more than any disappointment ever could. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The universe is also reminding you not to lose the wisdom your healing has given you. If someone walks back into your life, let your decisions be guided by both compassion and discernment. Keep your heart open, but allow your boundaries to remain strong. Healthy love does not ask you to ignore the lessons that protected your peace. It grows stronger because both people have learned from the past instead of pretending it never happened. This message is for you. Imagine your soulmate sitting quietly after another ordinary evening. There is no noise, no distraction, and no one else to influence their thoughts. For the first time, they stop asking whether they made the right decision by leaving a relationship that no longer reflected their truth. Instead, they ask themselves a much deeper question. What kind of person do I want to become from this moment forward? That question changes everything because it shifts their focus away from fear and toward responsibility. They begin understanding that real courage is not found in avoiding difficult conversations. It is found in facing them with humility, honesty, and respect. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Destiny rarely moves in dramatic leaps. More often, it unfolds through quiet choices made consistently over time. One honest realization leads to one courageous decision. One courageous decision leads to one meaningful conversation. One meaningful conversation has the potential to reshape an entire future. Your soulmate is standing at the beginning of that path. Every lesson they have learned about you has also become a lesson about themselves. Every truth they discovered has encouraged them to become more authentic than they have ever been before. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Continue choosing your own peace. Continue trusting the wisdom you have earned through every difficult season. Continue believing that the love meant for you will never require you to become less than who you are. The chapter behind you taught resilience. The chapter you are living now is teaching confidence. And the chapter waiting just ahead will reveal whether your soulmate has truly transformed their quiet realization into lasting action. What happens next will not be determined by beautiful words alone, but by the consistent choices that reveal whether growth has truly taken root inside both hearts. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. Every journey reaches a moment when quiet realizations can no longer remain hidden inside the heart. Your soulmate has reached that moment. For so long they believed they could simply carry these thoughts in silence, convincing themselves that time would somehow make everything easier. They believed enough days would pass for the questions to disappear. Instead, each new sunrise has only made those questions louder. Every ordinary moment has become another reminder that living honestly is far less painful than pretending everything is fine. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The truth your soulmate discovered about you did not simply change the way they saw your past. It completely changed the way they see their future. They now understand that the qualities they once overlooked were the very qualities they have been searching for ever since. Loyalty, compassion, patience, emotional maturity, quiet strength. Those gifts were never ordinary. They simply became familiar, and familiarity often hides value until distance reveals it again. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been learning these difficult lessons, you have continued building a life that no longer depends on someone else's choices. Think about how different your heart feels compared to the beginning of this journey. There was a season when you waited for explanations. You searched for signs that someone finally understood your worth. You wondered whether your love had been forgotten. Today your spirit carries something far greater than answers. It carries peace. That peace did not arrive because life suddenly became easy. It arrived because you finally stopped measuring your value through another person's ability to recognize it. That transformation is one of the greatest miracles the universe has been creating inside you. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has also begun noticing how much they have changed. They no longer seek temporary excitement while ignoring emotional depth. They no longer confuse comfort with happiness. They have discovered that a relationship without honesty slowly empties the heart, no matter how perfect it appears from the outside. Looking back, they realize that many of the qualities they once admired from a distance were quietly present in you all along. They simply lacked the wisdom to recognize them at the time. Experience has now become the teacher pride refused to listen to. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There have been evenings when your soulmate sits alone after the world grows quiet, replaying conversations that once seemed ordinary. They remember the way you listened without interrupting. They remember how you celebrated their victories without making them feel guilty for succeeding. They remember the gentle encouragement you offered during seasons when they questioned themselves. Those memories have become treasures because they now understand how uncommon genuine support really is. Life introduced them to many people, but very few offered the quiet acceptance your presence naturally carried. This message is for you. The relationship they left behind has become another teacher rather than another source of bitterness. Instead of blaming the past, they are asking themselves what they needed to learn from it. That question has changed everything. Growth always begins when a person stops asking, "Who is responsible for my pain?" and starts asking, "What kind of person do I want to become because of this experience?" Your soulmate has entered that season of honest reflection. They are no longer interested in repeating old patterns. They want a future built on truth instead of avoidance. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Have you noticed how your own intuition has become calmer? You no longer feel pressured to force every answer. You trust yourself more than you once did. Perhaps you continue seeing repeating numbers like 111 whenever hope quietly returns, 222 during moments that ask for patience, 444 when you need reassurance that you are protected, or 888 reminding you that seasons of growth often lead to unexpected abundance. Whether you understand these moments spiritually or simply appreciate them as meaningful reminders, they encourage you to keep moving forward without fear. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate is beginning to realize that courage is not found in dramatic speeches or perfect plans. Courage is found in small, consistent choices. Choosing honesty instead of silence. Choosing accountability instead of excuses. Choosing humility instead of pride. They understand that one sincere conversation cannot erase yesterday, but it can become the first step toward creating a healthier tomorrow. That understanding has become the foundation of every decision they are now making. This message is for you. Never forget how much your own healing matters. If someone enters your life again, let them meet the version of you that learned self-respect through every difficult season. Let them meet someone who values consistency more than promises, actions more than beautiful words, and emotional safety more than temporary excitement. Those standards are not walls meant to keep love away. They are wisdom earned through experience. Healthy love will honor them instead of asking you to lower them. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate standing at the beginning of a brand new day. They look into the mirror and realize they are no longer trying to become the person everyone expects them to be. They are finally trying to become the person their own heart can respect. That realization brings both peace and responsibility. Peace because they are no longer hiding from the truth. Responsibility because truth always asks us to live differently once we recognize it. They know they cannot return to old habits. They know they cannot build a meaningful future by repeating the same mistakes that damaged the past. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has never been asking either of you to become perfect. It has only been asking both of you to become honest. Honest about your fears. Honest about your hopes. Honest about the lessons that changed your lives. Sometimes people must walk separate roads before they can truly understand the value of walking beside someone. Whether those roads eventually meet again or continue in different directions, the growth they inspire is never wasted. This message is for you. Continue living with confidence. Continue protecting the peace you worked so hard to build. Continue believing that every chapter, even the painful ones, has prepared you for healthier love, deeper understanding, and greater emotional freedom. Your soulmate has reached a place where quiet realization is no longer enough. They know that if they truly want a different future, they must begin creating it through consistent actions rather than hidden feelings. And as this chapter closes, one final season quietly begins. A season where every lesson, every prayer, every tear, and every moment of healing leads toward a decision that has the power to redefine not only their future, but the story both of your hearts have been writing all along.